Hi, my name's Alejandro Rojas. I recently spoke at the Devils Tower UFO Rendezvous, where I got a chance to interview some of my fellow lecturers about the recent revelation that the Pentagon had a secret UFO project. You can see the iconic Devils Tower behind us in the interviews. This past December, the New York Times released an article about Luis Elizondo, who had recently retired from the Department of Defense. He revealed that he was part of a secret UFO project that began in 2007. Elizondo now works for To the Stars Academy, founded by the rock star Tom DeLonge, formerly of Blink-182. You can read more about this project in some of the links below, including an exclusive interview with Luis Elizondo for the International UFO Congress that you'll be able to see right here. One last thing I want to mention is that in this video you'll see journalist Lee Spiegel, and he references a documentary he's working on with James Fox, an incredible UFO documentary filmmaker whose past work includes the films Out of This Blue and I Know What I Saw. Read more about the Devils Tower UFO Rendezvous and the people in this video in the links below. I hope you enjoy the interviews. As far as the Pentagon revealing that they've investigated UFOs, to me it's a really big deal, just because it does validate what we've done for years. Many of us have been talking about how the government has been paying attention and taking the UFO subject seriously. We've got documentation to prove that, but when we try to communicate with the Air Force or other government agencies, they just tell us no, 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 and they kind of blow us off. But finally, we have this evidence and proof that, it has been taken seriously. And yet again, there's another government program where those involved who have headed up that group began sort of skeptical of the whole idea that there's even a mystery here, but ended up really believing that there's something to this and it needs to be an ongoing, serious investigation.
When the story broke in December of 2017, at first, I wasn't really impressed with the videos that they showed. I'm still not completely impressed because I know from the many people who I've interviewed over the years in politics, in the military, I already know that there's much more better, clearer footage, incredible footage of UFOs or flying saucers taken by jet pilots. But they've never been released because of, I don't know, national security reasons. So the videos that were released didn't personally impress me. I was impressed, however, by the fact that the Pentagon was apparently revealing that they had been doing this top secret UFO investigation. It's all been so just, I don't know, nebulous to me. It's like, I want more. We all want more information. There have been promises that there will be more films that will be released. But what are they waiting for? It's like, if you've got the evidence, show us.
The revelations from Luis Elizondo, they really did a couple things. First, they brought UFOs to the front and center. And they were done by, of course, the front man, Tom DeLonge, with To the Stars Academy. And I think that whether right or wrong, whether those videos actually prove anything or they don't, they still bring the question of whether there's alien life here interacting with us right to the forefront. That's important. That's the message. That's the discussion we have to have. And most importantly, the press, which has normally treated people like me and like others who investigate these objects as, well, nuts. They give us tinfoil hats. But we don't want tinfoil hats. We want to actually have a serious discussion. And I think this Pentagon release shows that the Pentagon has also wanted to have a serious discussion. They just wanted to keep it hidden. And we never knew that this was being done until it was exposed recently. And so I think that it's something that will be beneficial to ufology, even if the videos themselves don't prove specifically one way or the other that they're actually here.
Well, the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, or Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, you know, the acronyms have changed somewhat, and then there was reporting in part by a colleague of mine, Paul Dean, which helped confirm an even earlier and different acronym that was used for a sort of predecessor or an earlier version of that program. Whatever you want to call it, it's been very revelatory, I think, for a lot of the UFO community to find that there has been ongoing interest, again, by the Pentagon in relation to this phenomena. It may not be surprising to a lot of us, but again, it removes it from the realm of speculation in terms of what does government know. And I've always been an advocate of let's not worry too much about what government knows, because if they keep that from public knowledge, it's not of use to us. So let's work on a civilian level to try and apply science, again, good historical research and journalism to understanding what we're dealing with. The fact that we were afforded information that not only was there a Pentagon study group headed by Luis Elizondo previously, he no longer works with the program with the government, he now works with To the Stars Academy under Tom DeLonge, rocker of Blink-182. I mean, it's a weird kind of a collection of rather unlikely characters working in cohesion with one another toward a common goal, but really that's kind of been ufology all along. For those of us who have been involved for years, what's really interesting is that we have not only confirmation of ongoing government studies, but at least a modicum of information in terms of what they've been studying. And the release of these three videos that appear to show the Raytheon at-FLIR system at work under the U.S. Navy, filming and tracking objects, indistinct though they are on camera, it gives us an idea that, hey, the government takes this seriously. They're dealing with what appear to be aircraft in some instances, which at least there is some credible technical data that supports the idea that they behave in very unusual ways. And by that, of course, we mean what many common UFO narratives have said over the years, that they appear to act in a way that defies physics as we know it in terms of aeronautics and aviation in general. So, I mean, what are we dealing with? We still don't know. I'm very happy to hear that, as we would hope a scientifically minded assessment of this phenomena would do, that they haven't drawn conclusions. And Elizondo has been very explicit in saying we haven't tried to speculate about who's behind this or what the source or what the origin is. We just want to study these craft. But it's both comforting and at times also interesting and maybe even a little concerning to know that the government takes this subject so seriously.
With the recent release of the Pentagon's involvement in their recently revealed UFO program, I think what that's done, at least as far as the mindset, the zeitgeist of the American public, is it's helped legitimize the UFO subject. Many friends and colleagues have come up to me and said, what do you think of these new revealed programs with regard to the Pentagon? And they're very shocked and surprised by it, whereas we as UFO researchers and historians, my attitude was, we told you so. We've suspected, we've felt like we've known that the military, the intelligence community has never stopped investigating these UFO sightings. And to me, it was validation on the part of myself and my colleagues in the field. But I think as far as the general public goes, it really smashes those stereotypes of tinfoil hats and things of that nature. And I think it has actually made UFOs more mainstream.
So it almost doesn't matter what the government's been doing. It doesn't matter what people videotape in an F-14 or an F-16. The bottom line is, you have a truth you know, and you want to actually try to pursue that truth. You want to find out the answers, not only for everybody else, but for yourself. And that's not, all these exposures, all these revelations that are being brought out, they add positively to the discussion, but they aren't going to change how I operate or how I answer the question of whether they're here and all that. Not at all.
Yes and no. Again, what I think the best outcome of all this really has been, sad though it is, because I'm interested in technical data. I want to see technical data and information that we can use to, rather than just speculating about what this may be in terms of the broader UFO subject and the narrative. I want to see technical data that we can use that can be applied towards scientific studies of this in a very dispassionate and skeptical way. And I'm always emphasizing skepticism for that reason, because I think that unfortunately many people who call themselves skeptics are now looking at this data and saying this is obviously a 747 with or without mention of the transponder, or with or without taking into consideration multiple witness testimony with regard to the object that they say with their eyes they saw, as well as with the machines they used to track it. So It's interesting to me, I'll say, that, that this information has come out. I don't know that it has necessarily, in so many words, changed the way I look at things or go about it, because I think we've all been trying to study the best technical data at our disposal. But again, what we have seen, and this gets over into the realm of sociology maybe to an extent, is that there seems to be a sort of validation, or there's a credibility factor increase with ufology. All of a sudden, now that the New York Times can report on it, and even though certain more denialist-minded skeptics or doubters or contrarians are still trying to say, still nothing to see here, and all these reporters are gullible, what we see in a broader sense among the academic community, scientists and also journalists and, of course, government agencies too, is that, hey, this is a subject, it has national defense implications, it's something that we should probably be taking seriously, however remote the possibility that, extraterrestrials or anything like that is involved with this. People are taking it seriously, and now it's kind of become, all of a sudden, once again, a household discussion. People are saying, well, the Pentagon's looking into this. They get Neil deGrasse Tyson on CNN or Fox News to talk about it. And even Neil, dispassionate though he is about it, is saying, hey, look, I'm glad that somebody's looking into this. So I think that summarizes sort of how I feel too. I'm glad to know to an extent that the government's looking at it, but that does lend a sort of credibility to the subject we haven't seen in decades, which is in some ways also a little unsettling, because we're left with these questions. What are we dealing with? What is the mode of operation or the technology behind it? What is the intention of the operators, if there are operators, which one would presume, technological as this appears to be, there would have to be operators as well. So there are a lot of unanswered questions, but I see, rather than validation, I think there's a degree of credibility that has resulted from this that I hope will be conducive to further serious scientific research into this phenomena.
It changes what I do just because I like to interact a lot with the media. And fortunately, I feel like I've gained a lot of progress with, maintaining the credibility of the subject and the way that we cover the subject at Open Minds or on my other articles in Den of Geek and Huffington Post and other places. And so this actually enables me to further kind of interact and feel less kind of embarrassed when I'm talking to an astronaut and I ask them about their thoughts on the UFO phenomena, because I can preface that with, the DOD has looked into UFOs, what do you think? And that just brings an air of credibility and an openness to this topic that we've never seen before. So it's a very exciting time, and hopefully, this credibility swell that's happening with UFOs will just continue.
Yeah, I mean, we've been very lucky. I keep telling James, pinch me, because the kind of people who have agreed to talk to us and who have given us lengthy interviews and been comfortable enough to tell us what's been going on behind the scenes regarding the Pentagon top secret UFO study, how it all began, what the overall thinking is that the Pentagon people had of what they uncovered, what they came up with, that they're still not releasing. And it's amazing to be working on this, knowing that we've got this information and that we will soon be able to show it to people. No one has tried to stop us and say, no, you can't use that information, or please don't include that part of my interview with you. People are just saying, I agreed to the interview, and they've agreed that anything that they've said to us, we can use in our program, and that's really very exciting to us.
The Pentagon programs being revealed now really hasn't changed my approach towards the subject. I still try to focus on the facts and really look at the history and look at the patterns in the data. And what I'm interested to see is not what has been revealed on the part of the Pentagon, but what will continue, hopefully, to be revealed in future press releases and future revelations, because they've kind of let the genie out of the bottle. And we know that they've been now actively investigating and researching the subject post Project Blue Book 1969. I think it's naive for us to assume that now that this program's been revealed, their interest will stop. I think there will be continued investigation, continued research, and I hope that there will be a continual sharing of that information with the general public.